What a day from Drew Lock and this Broncos offense, putting up 4 touchdowns through the air, absolutely dominating this Carolina Panthers defense. Let me break down the film and show you guys what makes this kid Drew Lock so special, what he does so well, and how this offense as a whole took a huge step today against the Panthers. Taking a look at this first play, I want to put a spotlight on Drew Lock and his ability to hold second level defenders and really hold safeties to free up secondary routes. So as we see pre-snap here, we see the Panthers, they're going to roll into a cover three, just a base three deep zone look here. And on the offensive side of the ball, we see the Broncos, they're going to be running this dig and post combo coming across the middle of the screen here. It's really going to attack this middle safety here. If this middle safety sinks to play the post, throw the dig. If he steps up to play the dig, throw the post. One of these two routes should be open. As we see at the snap of the ball, look what Drew Lock does. He stares down the dig, and because he's staring it down, the safety reads Drew Lock's eyes and thinks he's going there. So as we see circled in white, he steps up to play the dig, but instead Drew Lock's just holding him there to free up all this green grass we see circled in orange. And as we see, Drew Lock drops a dime to KJ Hamler for a great touchdown here. Once again, I'll flip it to the tight view here. Just look how he's staring down that dig. Look how he holds that safety with his eyes to free up KJ Hamler behind it. Once again, I'm going to run the play from the top so you can see it happen in full speed, but this is a real high-level play from Drew Lock to get this touchdown. We've seen Drew Lock's abilities to manipulate defenders with his eyes to free up his receivers in space. But this next play, I want to put a spotlight on one of his receivers that can really get open and create space for himself. And that, of course, is Jerry Jeudy, the rookie. So pre-snap here, we see the Panthers, they're going to roll into a cover three, and they're going to send some pressure off the right side here. Jerry Jeudy on the bottom of the screen is going to be running sluggo, just a little double move slant and go route. And then as we see at the snap of the ball, I really want to focus on what happens here. So as we see him cut into this slant here, look how the safety steps up. He attacks, he drives on it now. And as we know how good Jerry Jeudy is getting out of his cuts, he cuts back upfield so quick and he creates this massive window. Drew Lock drops it in there for him, picks up a really nice gain here. I'll let the play roll from the top again, but this is just really highlighting Jerry Jeudy's ability to run routes and how quick he is out of his breaks. We've seen Drew Lock use his eyes to manipulate defenders on the second level to create big plays. We've seen Jerry Jeudy use his route running to create massive windows for him to make big plays. Now, I want to flip gears and let's take a look at the Broncos' offensive scheme and how they created massive windows, especially in the red zone, for this offense to succeed. Pre-snap, we're going to see the Broncos. They're going to be running a little bit of an RPO play here, but first we're going to ID the coverage by motioning Tim Patrick. As we motion Tim Patrick, we're going to see the corner follows him. This should trigger in Drew Lock's head and the offensive head, hey, it's man coverage. So this RPO play turns into a straight pass play here because we see the scheme's going to work out perfectly. It's going to be a little pick play here. We're going to see Jerry Jeudy. He's going to run a slant to pick off this man defender because as Tim Patrick flies out to the flat, this man defender is going to come flying across the screen to try to affect this play. As you see at the snap of the ball, though, Jerry Jeudy does a great job affecting this corner by just enough, forcing him to go over top, and this creates all this green grass we see here circled in orange. And this just turns into an easy pitch and catch touchdown here by Drew Lock. Jumps it off, Tim Patrick rounds the corner. Once again, I'm going to let this play run for the top. This is a really good design play, especially down here on the 2-yard line, a very difficult area to punch it in at. This is a really good design by the offense to really just finish a long drive. For this next play, I want to once again keep the spotlight on the offensive scheme, but I really want to focus on how this offense took chunk yardage plays just to keep the drive going and keep the ball moving down the field. Pre-snap here, we see a pretty nice play call by the Broncos. We're going to be running this naked flood concept. We're going to be having this jet motion. We're going to be faking that stretch to the right. This is all just trying to get flow from the defense, have them flow with the run, expect run here, because we see coming on the backside of this, we're going to have a flat route here ran by the tight end. We're going to have this over route ran to the left side of the field. We're going to have this vertical corner route, just kind of clear out the remaining defenders on the left side of the field to create space for these other two routes. So we see at the snap of the ball, the scheme's actually working perfectly. Circled in blue, we see these linebackers, they're flowing, expecting run. We see on the backside here, circled in white, these corners and safeties are getting cleared out by the vertical corner route. And as we see circled in orange, look at all this room for this tight end to flare out into and work with. As we see, Drew Lock is just going to roll out. He's going to dump it off to the tight end, pick up a nice 8-yard gain here. Of course, these aren't the big plays, but this is a really positive play, not forcing the ball, making the correct read, and just keeping the ball moving and keeping the offense on schedule. So we've seen a lot of positives. We've seen Drew Lock manipulate defenders. We've seen KJ Hamler's speed. We've seen Jerry Jeudy's feet. We've seen the offensive scheme creating space in the red zone. We've seen the offensive scheme just keeping them on schedule, keeping the ball moving. But with all that positive, I do have to highlight some of the negatives and some of the red flags I saw from watching this tape. Taking a look at this next play, this is where I want to put the spotlight on Drew Lock's ability to kind of progress through his reads and really his decision making in certain situations. Pre-snap here, we see the Panthers, they're going to roll back into a cover three look here. And on the offensive side of the ball, we see a pretty nice spot concept dialed up here. Starting with this inside tight end, he's going to run this 5-yard hitch route, which is the spot route. He's going to try to find an opening in this underneath zone and just sit there. We see we're going to have a tight end flare out to the flats, and then we're going to have this curler out here by the outside receiver. As we see at the snap of the ball, just focus your eyes on this 5-yard hitch route, like this spot route here. And I just really want to highlight, this is an awful route. He ran straight to the linebacker and sat here as we see circled in blue, and he's just sitting here allowing himself to be double covered. This is an awful route. And as we look outside, just following this triangle read, we go inside, now we look outside to the flats, circled in white. We see the flats, they're taken away. We got a flat defender here. Now as we look at the tip of the triangle here at the very top here, this curl route's open. We see circled in orange with these underneath defenders stepping up to the hitch. We got a lot of space to fit this curl in here. But as we see, Drew Lock just doesn't take it. He tucks it and tries to run this, and he isn't the most athletic guy in the league, so of course he's lucky to pick up 3 yards here, and he takes a very big unnecessary hit. I'm going to let the play roll from the top so you can see it happen once again in full speed, but I want to highlight, this doesn't happen a lot, but this is just bad decision making, putting a risk on Drew Lock and his health, and it's just things that you don't want to see from your starting quarterback. Not only is Drew Lock hurting his health, but he's also hurting his offense. Because now he's got them backed up into a 3rd and 2 situation. Instead of he would have just thrown the curl, he would have picked up a big chunk yardage first down, moving the sticks across the 50. Overall, though, I don't want to put too big of a spotlight on the negatives because I do want to focus on the positives because honestly, Drew Lock made some bad decision, yes, but he is also a second-year QB still developing, so he still has room to make those mistakes, make those errors. I know a lot of people can be impatient, but he's definitely on the right path. Look at the positives from this game. He was accurate, he was on time with his throws, he got outside of the pocket on play actions, threw with good mechanics, and he looked really good, and he kept the offensive moving, kept them on schedule, scored touchdowns, used his eyes to free up guys like KJ Hamler to make big plays, and Drew Lock played a hell of a game for being a second-year QB, especially down inside of Carolina, and I'm excited to see what path he's on for the rest of his career. I think this offense took a big step and a much-needed step this past Sunday, and I'm excited to see how they finish out the year, and I'm excited to see them enter into the free agency and draft period, see who they pick up to build around this guy, Drew Lock, because I think he still has a lot of potential left and a lot of gas left in the tank to be that guy for the Broncos. But that'll wrap up the film, guys. Let me know your guys' thoughts on Drew Lock. Let me know if you're a Broncos fan, what you guys want them to do this offseason. Let me know. I love hearing from you guys. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.